We are live. Let's talk about tongue blocking today. I got something specific as it relates to tongue blocking to talk about to kind of get your brain jogging, thinking about what you're doing in the world of tongue blocking, if anything, today. So let me just explain what it means. There's an A harmonica. Tongue blocking technically means that you are placing the tongue on the comb of the harmonica, and you're playing. You can play single notes, but you can play a lot of effects with tongue blocking. And I just want to give you some things to think about in this world. Let me just demonstrate what it sounds like. Slaps, flutters, octaves, or that's a split, but octaves, side to side, kind of warble action or trills. So there's many things you can do to create different sounds, but I want to talk to you about something specific. And that is, I'd ask you the following questions right now. If you're not using it, is like, do you like the sound you're getting currently? Are you a blues-focused harmonica player? And have you actually worked on it enough to say whether it's worth going after? So if you're focused on playing blues harmonica, I'll just say right out of the gates that if it were me, I 100% would encourage and recommend and tell you that you need it to some degree. Most people, when they start with octaves and splits. That's number one. If you're playing blues harmonica as a focus, it's not that you can't play blues without it. I puckered for the first year, only puckered, and you can definitely play some blues harp. But it's in the language. It's inherent in all the greats used this to some degree. The second thing is, do you like your sound currently, or do you feel like it's too thin? The answer might lie in working on your pucker embouchure to improve that sound, but also integrating some tongue blocking to fill it out. And have you worked on it? Have you actually taken the time to actually spend time with trying to tongue block outside of octaves and splits? So, this is not a lesson about how to do all of these things. I do have lessons on YouTube for that. But I want to mention it because I feel like a lot of people are uncertain as to how they should approach this instrument. So again, this is an A harmonica. So I've already said a lot just in this first 2-3 minutes of the stream here, which is if you're playing blues harmonica, you certainly want to use it to some degree. And if you're not using it, that's cool. You can develop your other skills like clearing up your single notes as a pucker player, bending, work on other elements of music like rhythm and etc. So it's not like you can't progress. You can. But I'm a hybrid player. Most of you know this. I am focused on mixing and blending the two, and I'm not shy about saying that I appreciate those who are hybrid players more than those who are only tongue block players as far as my preference for what I like to hear. I like that blended sound. All of that moving up is puckered. And the rest of it was tongue blocked. So I really like the contrast you get when you blend it. And I would encourage anybody out there, and I know there's tons of you, that are, and good morning or good afternoon to everybody tuning in, maybe good evening for you. I would just encourage you to go beyond octaves and splits. I think a bunch of people tuning in that are like intermediate blues harmonica players have lived, and maybe it's you, let's see it in the comments. You know, hey, yeah, that's me. I tongue block, but I'm only doing these kind of octaves. And really, I don't even know what to do with those. Most of my students come to me saying, I can do that, but I don't even know how to use it when I'm improvising or playing in general. Figure out what to do with that maybe first. Work on the integration of it, but then get into putting your tongue on the harmonica to get a single note. I really want to encourage a lot of people to just focus on the right side of your mouth and work on getting one note by placing the tongue over the notes you want to cover to the left. That's 6 blow, and I'm covering 5, 4, and 3. And when I take it on and off, I can get a chord and go back to that single note. There's a bunch of great things you can do rhythmically with tongue blocking that are You just can't do it unless your tongue is on the harmonica. So, step one is just trying to produce, if you're already an octave and split player, is trying to get one note out of the side and just sit there and mess with it. Let me give you a couple quick tips. Change the angle up of the harmonica. Really focus on what you're doing here with the seal of, let me show you what it looks like. There's a little bit of a hook shape or rounded shape at the corner of my mouth. And once you get a clean single note, not this, that's too loose. You got to really create a shape, and you can get one note. Try keeping the tongue on the harmonica and moving around. Now, I don't play like this, what I'm demonstrating, where I keep the tongue on the harmonica. Mainly it's for slapping and creating more of a bluesy sound, but it certainly would be a good way to create control over the embouchure of tongue blocking single notes. And then you can work on taking the tongue on and off. So this little talk here is just to say, please go beyond wherever you are. We all want to get better. We want to improve. Why? Because it makes playing much more fun. The more you can do, the more sounds you can create. And we want to challenge ourselves. Otherwise you get bored if you never grow and learn. So tongue block a little bit more than you are today if you're in the category of no tongue blocking or just octaves and splits. Your next step is to get that single note. That's the main message today, and you can find out everything about tongue blocking and every topic in the planet for blues harmonica with my membership. If you don't know about it, go to harmonica123.com. It was just revamped. It's a completely new site if you haven't seen it. Check it out. Become a member. Starting at $35 a month, you'd have access to everything I've ever created, all the downloadable notes, and even access to me in a Zoom Q&A every 6 weeks where you can ask me questions, play for me, I give you feedback, hang out. We've got a nice little community vibe going on, and there's happens to be a Q&A coming up for members right around the corner. So all the information's on the homepage now of harmonica123.com if you go there. And I want to say thanks to everybody here who's a member on my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that. Some of you are members here on the channel and members over at Harmonica123 like Thomas. Thanks, buddy. Good morning, everybody tuning in. So if you say you're shooting for being a hybrid player, that means you're probably just puckering today, primarily. But I know you have access to my membership in all my classes. And there are a handful of tongue blocking classes. It's not like there's just one. There's kind of the introduction to it, and then there's other more advanced classes or integrating tongue blocking into your playing. I touched on this earlier, but if you learn a technique and you're not sure how to use it musically, don't do anything else until you've figured out how to integrate it musically. That can be in a single lick or a melody. So if it's an octave, you might learn how to go back and forth from the octave split embouchure to a single note, or single note to octave or split. So work on the integration. It's really helpful. And like I said, I think you're in the category of the majority of intermediate blues harmonica players where you are using tongue blocking only in that octaves and splits. But I'd ask you, Steve, how often do you use it in your playing? Does it come out a lot? Does it come out a little bit or never? Yeah, so getting started with it, if you've never tried it, just get your tongue on the comb. If at first you're going to feel like this is weird, I remember the first time I put my tongue on the harmonica, I thought, no, this isn't for me. I just don't want to do it. It feels weird. You want it, I promise. And it doesn't feel weird forever. It just takes getting used to. Getting started could be with octaves, but it could also just be in single notes, you know? By the way, you're not using the tip of the tongue when you do single notes. The tip of the tongue then goes down, and you're using the broad side of the tongue and really the side of the tongue as well. See the angle? The angle is important. If I play straight, I might get a fuzzy note. You got to center this little part of the harmonica to get those single notes clean. Rand, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Hey, James, I don't play the Suzuki ProMaster anymore, but when I was with Suzuki many, many years ago, I did play it. It's a really nice harmonica, but it's very clean sounding. And the main thing I would complain about nowadays is that the chords are a little drier because it's closer. It's probably a compromise tuning, actually, but it's kind of leaning towards equal temperament, kind of like a golden melody. The chords are not like this. They don't have that big full sound. So if you like that and you want to use a lot of chords, maybe check out some other models as well. Oh, you haven't played it yet. No, I don't think that's a great choice for blues. You can play blues on it for sure, but I would recommend like a Special 20 or a Marine Band Deluxe or a Hohner Rocket. I'm a Hohner guy. Yeah, Rand's right. After a while, it does become natural. It doesn't feel so cumbersome to put your tongue on the harmonica. By the way, coming up here, I just a quick little mention of it. Next week, it's a good time to become a member at Harmonica 123 because next week I've got two big Walter classes. One, I'm teaching Can't Keep Loving You. I'm going to kind of go through that and pick out pieces of that and work on it with everybody on the 9th, which is a Sunday. Then there's a Q&A the next day for members in Zoom. And then at the end of that week, on the 15th, Joe Falisco is going to teach a big Walter Horton class where he teaches you all about the layers and style and approach of big Walter. Members get access to all my classes. So if you're a member, you get invitations either live, or if you're a silver member, you get access to all the recordings, but you don't attend live. Either way, you can check it out on harmonica123.com. So it's a good time to be a member, and Big Walter's great for tongue blocking because he's a big-time tongue blocker. So by listening to him, you're understanding, different ways you might use it in your phrasing. I like that it can be very percussive. And his style of playing is very rhythmic and percussive often. So I know Joe's going to do a killer job. He's probably the most popular guest artist that I have teaching on my platform. If you don't want to become a member, you can still buy a ticket to that class by looking at the homepage of harmonica123.com. Again, that's November 15th. The class on the 9th that I'm teaching is for members only. It's a special class. I'm doing it just for members. You'd have to be a member to get in on that one. All right, so yeah, and on the chromatic, it's definitely, man, oh my chromatic. By the way, y'all, thanks for mentioning that, Rand. I want to say that if you email me at info@harmonica123.com, I can give you more information on several things. You can ask about a YouTube kind of offer that I could possibly work up for the membership, but also I've got some things I might let go of still, and some of those are chromatics. So if you're into learning chromatic, I've got a handful of chromatics that I'm going to let go. I will not ship out of the US, so if you're outside of the US, please don't message me about that. I've had too many instances where it doesn't work well to do that, so I'm just not going to do it. So yeah, chromatic, what else do I got? Like a Lone Wolf, the brand new delay pedal, a couple other random things. There's only a few other things I'm going to let go. Maybe I'll just do an official post in the Harmonica Gear group on Facebook. If you don't follow me on Facebook, by the way, I'm going to be posting a lot more harmonica content on Facebook, probably even more than what I post here. Doesn't mean I won't post here or go live occasionally, but yeah, Joe's a great teacher. Well, Mart, it's going to take time. So if you're getting a nasty, sharp, stop-start kind of sound, you need to experiment more. And maybe get some lessons, get some instruction from Harmonica 123, from me, so I can set you on the right path. But it takes observing all the details of how you're applying the tongue. There's so many little nuances that happen to get it just right to create these sounds. I just like that slap. I feel like that's something you can't imitate or get around. You can't do that with puckering. You have to tongue block. There's no way to get around that. So don't give up on it, Mart. Keep working on it. By the way, speaking of Joe Falisco, I just happened to pick up this harmonica. Joe built this for me. He is not only an incredible player, such a great teacher, but he's also an amazing technician and customizer and historian of the harmonicas. He's like an expert in 4 different areas as it relates to the harmonica. It's incredible. So he built this for me many, many years ago. Been over a decade, or close to a decade, maybe right around 10 years ago. And it still plays great. And I may not pick it up every day and play it, but when I do, it's just awesome. So that's my talk today about tongue blocking. Get into it. Ask yourself those questions. Do I love my sound? Have I really spent time on it? And am I focused on blues harmonica? Because you start to understand that if blues is the focus, you're going to eventually get curious enough and want to go for it. That's it. That's what I got today. What else? November's an exciting month. I already said it, but there's several opportunities to connect for classes, for the Zoom Q&A that I'm doing with members, which is a lot of fun. All members are invited to those Q&As now. Used to just be for gold members, but I want to open it up to silver members. So what's the advantage of a gold membership then? Well, they can attend as many live classes as they'd like. So every time like a guest artist class or I'm doing a solo class, they're just invited. They get the email invite to join live. Silver members just get access to all the recordings. However, I've just upgraded silver membership so that you can join the Q&A and special member-only classes. That's pretty cool. So again, if you're a silver member, you can join a member-only class, but they won't come up very often. I imagine that I might do it 3 to 4 times a year, maybe. Let's say 3. But my classes, I'm doing at least a couple every month or more. So that's the deal. Thanks for letting me talk about the membership. Thanks for listening to me talk about tongue blocking. And I hope you'll get into it. If you have more questions about tongue blocking, or you want information on what class, you can still purchase classes from me. You know, I don't have a storefront anymore at the website. So everyone's afraid to ask me about how to buy this or that. You can buy any of my classes. In fact, you can now view every single class on the website by clicking full list, I think it says. If you go to Harmonica 123, right on the homepage, there is, scroll down to where it says full class list under memberships. You click it and it lists everything I've ever created so far. And I'm still adding to it every month. And you can buy those individually just by emailing me at info@harmonica123.com and saying, I want to buy this, 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 and this. What's the cost? And then I invoice you, PayPal or credit card. It's a little old school. I get it. I don't have a storefront right now. I'm trying to decide how I want to handle that. There might be a Shopify coming down the road where I connect it, because I know a lot of people have been trained to just use the storefront. But you could still buy these individual classes, at least for the time being. And that's it. That's what I got. Hope you guys are well. And I'll see you soon. See you soon, everybody.